Ladies and gents, if you're a Tottenham fan, you're going to want to see this one. But before we get there, the tease that I am, this is the tactic itself. It's called a Blue Italy 3-5-2 standard Mazzala. You can see you start off with a sweeper keeper in attack, a wide center back in support on both sides, a central defender in cover in the middle, two wing backs on support, a DM in support, and then two Mazzalas in attack in the midfield. And then up front, you have two advanced forwards, both in attack. And yeah, so it's a Blue Italy style. The mentality is attacking in possession. Attacking width is fairly wide. Approach play, pass into space, overlap on the left and right. Play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter, tempo is higher. Low crosses, work the ball in the box, and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly, and then roll it out. And then finally, out of possession, you can see a high press line of engagement, higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. But now, the piece de resistance, this is how the table ended. You can see Tottenham in first place, tied with Liverpool, 87 points. Man City in fifth. That's incredible. Newcastle, though, in fourth with 73, a fantastic result there. Wolves in seventh, 62. If you're Wolves, you're probably not all that excited. I mean, obviously in Conference League spots, not bad. However, 62 points is not a whopping total, but Tottenham, 87 points is absolutely amazing. So now looking at Tottenham's schedule, you can see something, just a glaring omission from all of this. Up until the last match of the first half of the season, there's no losses whatsoever. Everything, I mean, even only 4 draws. Absolutely amazing run by Tottenham. They do lose out to Chelsea in the Premier League, though. They come back from the World Cup, lose out to Arsenal, FA Cup thrashing of Swansea, but lose out in the EFL Cup quarterfinals to Liverpool, Crystal Palace, FA Cup to continue on until the 4th round replay against Leicester, and they are out. PSG, they are kicking some major butt. And then Champions League, they go up against Inter. The semifinals is where they bow out. Away from home, they lose 1-3, but at home, they win 3-1. Unfortunately, they miss out in penalties. So they are dropped out of the semifinals of the Champions League. So unfortunately, only one trophy this season, but for Tottenham, A, it's a trophy. You haven't had one in a while. And B, it's a massive one with the Premier League. Newcastle schedule, definitely a little bit hairier. Obviously, that 2-7 loss to start out the season, not great. They do go on a fantastic run, though. But then it's run of 3 losses in a row. I mean, it's just kind of spotty from that point on. Continuing on in the EFL Cup until that 3-5 thrashing for Man City. 1-2 loss to Crystal Palace in the FA Cup 4th round. And then it's absolutely spotty all the way until end of April thereabouts. And then you have a fantastic run to finish out the season. Well, Wolves, what do you expect? I mean, you do have 1 loss against Liverpool in the first month. I mean, fantastic set of results. But then look at this. I mean, a win, a draw, and a loss. But then October is awful. You continue on in the Cups. So up until the FA Cup 3rd round, 0-1 loss to Crystal Palace. EFL Cup, there you go. The final, you lose in the final to Liverpool 1-3. You do finish out the season pretty well right after that. Only 1 loss to Manchester City, but all of this 6-5 against Aston Villa. Transfers for Tottenham, not a lot of big ones. I mean, you have Andre Silva, Ferdi Kadioglu from Fenerbahce, 20.5 on the outs. Really nothing big at all. Lucas Moura to West Ham is about it. Newcastle, no one really knew. Guido Rodriguez, 35 million from Real Betis. Thilo Kehrer from West Ham on loan. So that's a new one that I don't remember seeing before. And then Mark Gillespie is the biggest out, 1.3 to Crystal Palace. Wolves, we've all seen before. Tormena, Mega Veloso. No real outs. 8.5, I guess, Daniel Podence to Sassuolo. 900k for Diego Costa. We've all seen before. And Lamikisa we've seen as well. Data hubs, Tottenham are absolutely, I mean, shaky in defense, but absolutely phenomenal in attack. You can see they lead the league probably, or very close to, in many different categories. No real weaknesses whatsoever. They have a couple of things they could have brought it up depending on the tactic. Again, we're not really getting a lot of dribbles per game in these tactics. Defensively, though, yeah, they're conceding a little bit more than the average. XGA is a little, expected goals against per game is a little higher. Some nice on the lower ends, fouls per game and things, but Clearances per game, blocks per game, interceptions per game, you'd really like to pick up defensively. Newcastle, a little bit better in defense, but very good in attack. Not quite as good as Tottenham, but still, overall, only one in the passing completion ratio is under the Premier League average. Everything else is on or well above. Wolves, extremely shaky in defense. Very good, or pretty good in attack. Not too bad. Definitely some lower numbers than you've seen in the other two, but still. That defensive side, there's a lot to be. I guess you just need a little bit more oomph from the defense. Premier League stats for all three teams. Most goals, Tottenham. I mean, what else do you expect? 103. Liverpool's 96. Manchester City in 6th. But Newcastle and Wolves both up there as well, beating Man City. Fewest shots against Tottenham and Newcastle. Most possession to Tottenham's in there. I mean, again, these numbers are usually in the 50s or thereabouts, maybe a little 60. No dribbles made, though. Again, not a tactic that has a lot of dribbles made in it. So Tottenham with fewest conceded, 34. That's pretty nice to see. Most shutouts, Tottenham is 3rd. Tackles won Newcastle and Wolves, so the defensive side of things. Best pass completion, nobody. Most shots for Tottenham, not in 1st. Liverpool and Manchester City well above Tottenham. That's interesting to see. Newcastle and Wolves, not too, 50 and 60 off from Tottenham's numbers. Not too bad. And then most points per game. I'm actually surprised. We have 2.29. I guess they were tied overall, but 2.29 sitting in 2nd. Newcastle in 4th and Wolves in 7th. Individual player overview for the league. You can see most goals, Ivan Toney with Brentford. Son, though, in there with 18. Cunha with 17. Most assists, Trippier, Porro, Moutinho, Kulusevski, Bissouma. You got a lot of them in there, but 17 for Trippier is a fantastic number. Player of the Match awards, Kalajic, 7 for Wolves. Kane with 6 and Cunha with 6. Liverpool, solid in there. You got best passing completion, Christian Romero from Tottenham. Most dribbles made, Semedo and Target are in there. Fewest conceded, Hugo Lloris, there you go. Most shutouts, Hugo Lloris and Jose Sa. Most tackles won, Nunez with Trippier in there. So again, defensive side's doing some nice pieces there. Most key passes, Trippier, Porro, Moutinho. You don't see Sarabia in there, which is interesting to see. But most shots, Dan Burn. I don't think I've seen his name in these lists before. And then finishing out, as we always do, top goal scorer is Harry Kane in all competitions. 7.44 highest average rating. Kulusevski and Porro with 19 assists apiece, which is fantastic. And Kane with 10 player of the match awards. Callum Wilson, 18 goals for 4th place. That's interesting to see. Dan Burn with 7.27 highest average rating. Trippier with 18 assists. And Wilson with 7 player of the match awards. And Wolves, Cunha with 20. Kalajic with 7.32. Moutinho with 14 assists. And Kalajic, again, 7 player of the match awards. I mean, overall, all three teams did fairly well. Wolves, probably a little bit better than average. Newcastle, definitely better than average. Tottenham, highly suggest looking at this for a Tottenham squad. 87 points is fantastic. I don't know what would happen if I ran this 5 or 6 times, if they would still get up there each and every time. But if you're a Tottenham fan, this just has to look good. But that is it for me, Sefian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.